Woo! Yeah, baby, let's go. Little Van Halen.
Friday.
It's Friday, baby. We're getting a good Friday vibe up in here. This is the second time we're attempting to record this podcast. The one that we did yesterday didn't record, and I'm not going to vent against Zoom. I'll take full responsibility. Uh,
Nah,
yeah,
nah,
no, you know what?
nah,
Screw
dude.
them, man. Screw
Screw
them.
them, dude.
Don't
This is
use Zoom.
deja vu. We already did this.
You know what? I bet those frickers are listening in right now. I have to say frickers. I'm trying to monitor my language a bit more. I don't know.
That's good. You're getting a jump on the New Year's resolution.
Frickers is such a hilarious, like, I gotta find something else. I had a buddy of mine, my best friend growing up, his, coming up from an Italian family, and his dad was like this kind of like Joe Pesci character, but
Yeah,
he would never curse. So he was like Joe Pesci from,
sure.
yeah, what,
Goodfellas.
Home Alone, Home Alone.
Oh yeah, Home Alone.
Where
Yep.
he'd be like, we'd do something wrong, be like, "You freaking wise guys, how you know you would never curse,"
He's
which is
sick of this
kind
sheep
of
dip,
yeah, it's kind of badass actually.
fudge eating nickel pickers.
Yeah, that's it. All right, man. Well, let's hop into this. Do we want to go through some recent news? What are we thinking?
Yeah, yeah. The news changed from yesterday. What's top of mind for you today? I got one thing.
Well, let's hear it. What do you got?
All right. So John Carvalho, he posted today
Yeah.
a new Bitcoin improvement proposal, a BIP. And what he wants to do, this is on GitHub, you could check it out. What he wants to do is remove the term sats. Everything is a Bitcoin. I love this. I said this, I posted about this maybe in April or August or a few months ago, but I was thinking that, most people have no idea that a Bitcoin's a million, 100 million sats. What if it's all just Bitcoin?
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
sat is a Bitcoin. You got a million sats, you got a million Bitcoin. You got 100 million sats, which we call a full Bitcoin. You got 100 million Bitcoin. Yes, people will have trillions of Bitcoin. Um, you probably have at least a trillion Bitcoin. I don't. I'm trying to get there.
Trillionaires, baby.
Trillionaires. But I
Yeah.
love the idea. And of course, it's going to get a ton of blowback, as every BIP should, or at least a ton of discussion. But I love it because, you know, um, if you got a million sats, $1,000, you're a Bitcoin millionaire.
It makes it a lot more uniform, right? I mean, it's like Sats doesn't really make sense. I mean, Satoshi's like and having to
Yeah.
explain that it and then the conversions, it's like it kind of gets lost in translation. It's a whole thing. Um, I will miss that though. Like I like the nod to Satoshi. It's almost like we have dead presidents on cash, and it is kind of nice to have like if we're gonna have one person, right? That's like you hand me a Benjamin, right? Or
Yeah.
whatever it is, this type of like this culture that kind of comes from, it's like, well, yeah, give me some Satoshis. Or like,
Yeah.
what if it was like a half of Bitcoin was like a finny, you know?
Oh, dude, I like that. Finny,
'Cause
Finny Cent.
Yeah, because then you kind of create this like mimetic thing, and so then any creatives that are like writing music about Bitcoin, are like, you know, what do we call
Yeah.
like one full Bitcoin? And you have, I think like even it doesn't have to be a BIP, right? It could
A
just be
holy,
like some type of thing that connects. What is that?
a whole Bitcoin.
A whole Bitcoin? Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of attaching like cypherpunks to it, you know?
I like that too. I mean, I think it's really interesting to think about it. And what 1% of people even have Bitcoin, care about Sats.
Yeah,
Um, it could still be a term used within, the plebs. Like we could talk
for
about
sure.
Sats and have it be no big deal, but it's kind of taking it to a dollar, right? Yes,
Yeah,
there's cents and dimes and quarters and nickels and all that crap, but if you got $1 million or you got $1 million, $10, $1, the same idea. One sat is one Bitcoin, 1,000 sats, 1,000 Bitcoin,
yeah.
and you could see how it feels good if you got today you can buy 10,000 sats or 10,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It changes it changes the entry point. And here's the big piece I see is that it might reduce shitcoining, going for the altcoins, the Doge coins, the other junk that people want to buy because they can't earn 100 or can't buy 100 million sats. They can't get one Bitcoin. They can get 10,000 dog coins.
It's all psychology.
Yeah, everything's
Plain,
psychology,
plain and
right?
simple. And I think that this is like a psychological upgrade, right?
It
Where
is.
I love the sound of that, like, hey, you can buy 5,000 Bitcoin,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. And we're talking about 5,000 Bitcoin for, a fraction of what 5,000 whole coins cost, obviously. But
Obviously.
if you've gotten to one Bitcoin, great, you got to one Bitcoin. If you've gotten to 100 million sats or 100 million Bitcoin, that's quite a milestone. It
Like,
just makes getting to the whole coin more significant.
I love it. I love it.
I
Yeah.
thought that was, I don't know. I'm going to be interested to see who kind of see or who comments on his BIP.
Yeah, BIPs are infamously hard to get through. They take a long time. So we'll see. But I think this one is very viable. Um, it makes sense. And I'd like to see him on a couple podcasts selling the idea. I'd like to
Yeah.
see him explaining it, and he will.
Yeah. And Adam Back is on the record talking about bits, being a fan of
Yeah,
bits.
yeah.
And, the conversation, I think it's a good one to have. Let's stop talking about, the price predictions and talk about something more interesting.
I think it's the perfect time to do it too, while everyone is like so focused on only talking about the price, like we're in a bull market. The newcomers to the space to actually be able to 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 rally around like what is a BIP, right? It's almost like they might be asking that for the first time. They might be hearing that for the first time, so they can through this process during a bull market, which is not uh, historically how it goes, be introduced to more of the technical aspects of Bitcoin, the consensus mechanisms of Bitcoin, right?
Yeah. Love that. What are we looking at here?
Well,
101
we're looking
K
at
for a
101,
Bitcoin.
baby. Yeah, I've got
Ooh.
101K right now, which this is looking good. It might be a fun weekend.
Well,
And
what do you think? Sunday night pump, or does it dump after the market closes and
with
then
yeah, yeah, it's going up forever.
yeah,
No, I mean, I think every one of these weekends that we've been going into, I've been saying to myself, it's going to be a fun weekend. And 90% of the time it's been accurate. So I'm going to stay with that. I'm going to say, yeah, we're going up. It's going to be a fun weekend. I think before Christmas, before the new year, I don't know. I think we're going to 125K.
yeah. Tell me, because I've been thinking about this the last 2 days. Let's say you put some Bitcoin, whatever the number is, but let's just say, for example, I'll just pick a number, $28,000, and you've got it on a cold card or a Jade or a passport. You're holding your passphrase, your seed phrase on a signing device. It goes from 28,000 to 48 to 106 to 270. Does that change the way you think about your seed phrase being stored on a
Yeah.
device? What I mean,
I, yeah,
like, do you think so if you get it off the exchange, great. If you get it into an app, okay, you're at risk. It's a hot wallet. If you get it from, offline onto a storage device, you're safe. But like how viable are these devices? Like if you've got your seed phrase, you can take it to another device or whatever.
right.
What do you think about that? Do you lose sleep over that?
I've been losing more sleep over it. I've seen recently some Bitcoiners talk about that they've been compromised.
Yeah.
And it's not any malfunction in the device, although it could be if like you're using a ledger and you're connecting to the internet.
Yeah.
Um,
Have fun staying poor.
have you
Yeah.
that's don't do that, right? Use
Yeah.
cold card, use something that's not, like air gapped.
Bitcoin only.
Bitcoin only, and you're going to be fine if you have it on steel and you have that secured away somewhere, but which is what everyone should be doing. But personally, with my journey, multi-sig seems more and more appealing every day to prevent
Hmm.
from $5 wrench attacks, right? Like, I mean, you want to be strapped, you want to stay frosty, if you're a Bitcoiner and like you're putting that information out there, like anyone that, the more the number goes up, the more of a honeypot is going to be, attached to your name and likeness. And, if they know where you live or they can find that out, some people might be brazen enough if the dollar value of that Bitcoin is high enough. And so, protect yourself, protect your family, if you know what I mean.
Second Amendment.
That's right. We'll just say that. Second Amendment, stay strapped, stay frosty. But, even one step further than that too is multi-sig, right? So be distributing your keys, right? So like if
Hmm.
someone wanted to, do a $5 wrench attack and they got you and they got your seed phrase, there's nothing they can do with that anyway. Okay. You gotta go talk to find my lawyer. You gotta go find the other custodian that's holding my other set of keys,
So
and
you're talking about institutional
well,
multi-sig,
well, yeah,
where multiple companies, each company holds a key. And
yeah,
it's not like you've buried one at your mom's house, one at your house, one at your
right.
uncle's.
That's what I'm talking about, like an unchained solution, or a Thea, right? If you've looked into the Thea,
Yeah.
they've got a
On-ramp.
good solution on ramp. Yeah, I
On-ramp
mean,
does it
so
too.
there's some good services, and some of them are pretty affordable, right, for that. And I think that is like the top tier way to custody your Bitcoin, right? And then you can start doing the estate planning type of stuff, right? Like instead of just telling your wife or whoever, like, hey, if I die,
Right.
here's what you do. I don't have a
Exactly.
lot of peace of mind in communicating that information. And, like, because what if they lose it? What if they miss a step? What if they bring someone in to help and that person, is a parasite? So
Yeah.
I
Have
lose
fun
sleep
staying
over
poor.
the. Yeah, I mean, listen, yeah. So the short answer, yes, I do lose sleep over it. Uh, and I think that's okay. And I think we want to be safer than.
Yeah. I I want to test my security like every couple of months so that I know that I'm doing it right. And I saw Jade Wallet, they put out a post yesterday how you can do a temporary test of your passphrase to make
Oh,
sure that your funds are safe. And they're like, if anything breaks down with the device. And seeing posts like that from the maker of the product makes it real. They've
yeah,
created a device. Hopefully it works. How much do you have on it?
yeah,
Those are the things that it's like maybe distributing your risk is smart. And, I remember I had a conversation with some plebs about having multiple Bitcoin wallets. And they're like, there's no point. Just keep your whole stack in one address.
right.
But I also feel like distributing your risk across multiple devices is probably better, like eggs in a basket sort of scenario.
Yeah, but I also don't want it to get so complex and convoluted that, right? Like, if I die, if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, I don't want my family to miss out on that. Like, you have to really be a responsible individual and make sure you've thought through everything. And like you're doing, like you said, test it every few months just to make sure.
Write instructions. Write
Yeah,
instructions for, the person who's coming after you. I think that that's key. But also being careful that those instructions are secure.
that's the thing, right? So just these different layers of complexity help with the security, but might pose future downside if not managed the right way. And I think that's fine for us. I think that's fine, obviously, for people that are of that mindset. But for a lot of the people that don't really want to have to worry about it, right? There are good solutions out there, right? And there's even insurance now, but it's it's institutional insurance and stuff. Rob Hamilton, what's his company's name, if you remember?
I don't. Mm-mm.
Anchor Watch.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Is it
I've
Anchor
I've
Watch?
heard of
Yeah.
them. I haven't looked into that. I don't have enough Bitcoin to get insurance.
Yeah, me neither, buddy. But I think I do think at some point there's going to be solutions for that, right?
Yeah,
For not just the institutions, right?
right.
Not that I would necessarily rely on that. Um, But these are all really good questions to ask and think through. And then I think the more that we like discuss them, the more we realize, like from a business standpoint, how many gaps there really are to fill. Right? There's so many needs in the Bitcoin space right now, which tells us that we're early, and that if you offer, a superior product and service, like there's a market for that.
Agreed.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
early.
man.
I'm tired of it being early. Everyone says we're early. I'm tired of being early, to be honest.
I
I
mean, like,
want the solutions. I want it to be widespread. I want those digits on on the screen to have another zero or two, you know?
yeah, one day when we're like, you and I are 85 years old, sitting on the front porch in rocking chairs, drinking whiskey sours, I'll look over and I'll say, we're still so early.
We're so early.
That would actually be a nightmare. No, no,
Yeah, man.
Bitcoin's like $1 trillion, and we're still early.
What do you want to buy now?
No
Oh,
shit
goodness.
coins. Let's do a little rundown of the news, huh?
Oh, yeah, I thought we just
Just
did. What do we got?
Well, some top headlines, right? Just yeah, just to reel them off here on Bitbo. Uh, digital asset reform, riots buying a shit ton of Bitcoin, a half billy.
Isn't
Texas
that weird?
Bitcoin, yeah,
These guys are mining Bitcoin
and
and they're
buying.
buying it. Like Marathon was doing that too. Like they bought, they did the whole MicroStrategy, leveraged some debt to buy Bitcoin. It's like, haven't you guys been buying this and just selling it like crazy?
Yeah.
It's just weird. It's like the bakery that makes cakes is going out and buying cakes.
Yeah, that's a hilarious way to think of it, right? I mean, you must really believe in that future value of cakes,
Yeah, I
right?
chocolate ones. Yeah, chocolate
Chocolate
cake.
ones that are perfectly preserved organically,
Am I the
that
only
won't go
one? Yeah.
bad,
With
right?
yeah, made with coconut oil, cold
Coconut
pressed.
oil and permissionless cakes, right? Borderless cakes
Yeah, conflict-free chocolate
that you can send to someone across the world, right?
digitally.
Digitally.
Oh man, now we're getting in NFT space. Let's back up. Back up. What's the next headline?
Ukraine to legalize Bitcoin by 2025 under strict oversight. Have fun
What
staying
is
poor.
what is le what do- how do you legalize Bitcoin? It's open source software. You download it and you put it on your machine. You're saying that's illegal in Ukraine?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, that whole headline is
Oh,
hilarious.
goodness.
Under strict oversight. Well, by the way, people were sending a ton of Bitcoin to Ukraine when that whole thing kicked off.
Oh, I know. I know. Yeah, and the allegations of FTX,
Yeah.
Sam Bankman-Fried, and
CIA written all over that.
yeah, Zelensky holding a bunch of his funds on FTX. Goodness, that's a whole rat hole that we can avoid.
Goodness, goodness gracious. The last one here is Texas proposes strategic Bitcoin reserve in state treasury.
Yeah, go
It's
for it.
happening, folks. It's all the based states will be adopting Bitcoin, and
Yeah, how does this benefit the state? Does it reduce, are they going to acquire Bitcoin and then reduce the tax rate on their citizens? Because Texas has the highest real estate tax, I think, in the country. And I realize they don't have income tax, but if you buy a property, you're paying through the nose on property. So I think it's great that these states are buying it, but what are they doing to offset the burden on their citizens?
yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked into it. My first thought is that it's kind of a marketing thing. Like you want to attract, if you understand that Bitcoin is the future, and I think they're probably saying Bitcoin, but I think there's probably, some shitcoinery happening too. You want to attract sort of like the Silicon Valley aspect. Like all the tech leaders went to Silicon Valley. If you're like Wyoming, if you're Texas, Montana, you want to Colorado, you can pay your taxes in crypto. Like you're trying to kind of get a certain type of person there, right? And so if you can signal that you have a bill that is a strategic Bitcoin reserve, yeah, I think that's part of it, right? So I don't know. I'd have to look into that further. But do they hold, like, is Texas holding gold in their treasury? Like I'm sure equities, stuff like that. there's a guy here in Hawaii that used to run the state treasury, and he's a Bitcoiner. So maybe in Hawaii we got something cooking up for that too. But
Aloha. That sounds good.
yeah, dude. Yeah, it's the
Maybe
Aloha State, Bitcoin
maybe
State.
it's a way to finance improvements to your state.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's creative ways you could do it. We got Saylor doing Sailor stuff. You want to listen to this?
Sure. What is this? I don't recognize this video.
The other thing that happened was MicroStrategy had, we took 30 years to accumulate 500 million in capital, which we invested by September, October of 2020. We took 4 years grinding away through the crypto winter to find another $10 billion of capital to invest in Bitcoin. And then the next 4 weeks of November, we raised $13.5 billion of capital. So, and in November, we bought nearly like 150,000
That was
Bitcoin.
your biggest slug of Bitcoin ever added,
There were 15,000 Bitcoin mined in the month of November.
right? About
And
10
so
times that.
when you start to work through the math of what's going on here,
Yeah.
There's not going to be any Bitcoin left if Michael Saylor continues to operate this way. I mean, it took him 30 years to get to 500 million, and last month he spent 13 billion, 13.5 billion on Bitcoin. I mean, we're talking about just a monster amount of Bitcoin purchases. And whether or not you like MicroStrategy or invest in the stock, whatever you want to do, you can't deny that he is accumulating Bitcoin as fast as the ETFs, BlackRock and Fidelity. And that's just one company. And those other two ETFs, they have, hundreds of thousands of customers.
Yeah, and for anyone out there that's thinking that this is a bad thing, that you have an individual or entities accumulating Bitcoin, like that's the whole point of Bitcoin. It's not, it's a proof of work, right? It's
Mhm.
not proof of stake, right? Proof of stake, the more you have a stake in that network, literally, the more influence that you have over that network, the more decision making ability you have over that network. With proof of work, it doesn't matter how much Bitcoin you own outside of, social influence, right? Or trying to like persuade people because you're a large Bitcoin holder. Proof of work doesn't care about that. Okay. So miss me with all that centralization bullshit. That's not centralization. Okay, you're talking about distribution of coins. They're two separate things. Okay. Um,
Yeah, if you're playing musical chairs, Sailor is removing chairs from the game. It's only going to make the remaining chairs that much more desirable.
yeah, yeah. And we're Bitcoiners. We don't like to stack chairs, right? You might have one or two in your house that you share. So
You share chairs at your house?
yeah, my wife gets to use the chair for
but the other thing
she
that
gets to use the chair for the first 2 hours of the day, and then I get it for 2 hours, and then honey, I need the chair. I've got a call coming up. So if you own more than one share, you're short Bitcoin.
Yeah, these debates, endless debates. I'll admit that I have more than one chair in my house.
I didn't know you were short Bitcoin, dude.
I am probably by 6 chairs.
All right. We also got Ray Dalio strongly recommending investing in Bitcoin and avoiding debt assets. Warns of imminent debt money problems in global finance. No surprise there, $36 trillion in United States debt. I'm not sure about what the global debt is, how many trillions that is, but yeah, I mean, Dalio's been talking about the debt money problem for quite a long time. I haven't really heard him be as bullish on Bitcoin as he is right now. So that's a change, and Dalio's a smart guy, so heed
I
his
think they're,
advice.
yeah, they're more comfortable talking about Bitcoin now. I think that, the new administration coming in has really given everyone permission. In addition to Larry Fink running out there and Saylor running out there, and now it's a topic on, Fox Business and CNBC.
Yeah.
It's okay to talk about Bitcoin, and it makes me think that he's probably held these opinions for a while, but didn't share them in order to get his broader message out, which is, hey, this debt is going to be a problem for the world.
for sure. Yeah. Um, there was another news item. What was it? Oh, Eric Trump. Oh, there it is. Eric Trump gave a speech in Abu Dhabi, the Bitcoin Mania Conference, and I think tax-free Bitcoin is on the way. He mentioned this.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine what does that do? What does that what does a tax-free Bitcoin do?
I think it makes the network that much bigger. If
Yeah.
you're able to transfer your Bitcoin to dollars or whatever your local currency is back and forth without penalty, it opens up a whole new world for transactions, for accumulating, for purchasing. Imagine you're holding your Bitcoin, it goes up by 20%. You take part of that profit and use it to pay bills or buy groceries. Now you can now you can enjoy life in a way that you weren't able to before. Instead of selling your Bitcoin because you had to pay bills and then pay whatever your tax rate is on that Bitcoin sale, like you can just sort of live with Bitcoin and a local currency alongside it. Uh, Absolutely huge if this happens. What do you think?
Bitcoin is money. Straight up. There should be no, I mean, do you tax dollars when you spend dollars, right? Do you tax dollars when you hold it? No. I mean, Bitcoin is money. There's the store of value narrative, obviously, but that's, it is a medium of exchange. And we as Bitcoiners, we have our own circular economies, and that's all great. I've been working toward living fully on a Bitcoin standard and, using Fold, you can hold Bitcoin, then you can transfer Bitcoin to dollars and you can use the card. But to be able to just transact and use Bitcoin would be a total game changer directly. And there is no reason why it shouldn't be that way. When you visit,
Taxes are the reason. They want their pound of flesh.
I we could talk about taxes for an hour, but it's a Friday. I don't want to get all riled up.
Oh man, Serenity now.
It's like that Alex Jones meme where he's like, "Oh, it's the taxes, and they're coming to take the taxation is theft. Yeah, we should be. Dude, I really think we're gonna be with this administration that there's going to be a complete overhaul of the tax structure. I think we're moving toward like some type of flat tax.
Can
Have you
you
read the
imagine?
Have you read the Mandibles by chance?
Yeah, I did. I have a criticism of the mandibles.
What is it? The Bitcoin criticism?
No,
Or
I just didn't feel like it had a plot. I felt like I was reading an 8-hour podcast transcript.
dude, I loved it. I thought it was great.
Damn it. Yeah, I mean, I love the idea of it. I don't love the fact that Bitcoin wasn't part of the solution and, imagining a world without Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You didn't find it overly depressing? I was antsy the whole time I read it.
I was really in my doomerism phase at that point, you know. Um,
Oh,
and so maybe I was just like bathing myself in the black pill and the doomerism
that's the
of
part
things.
that got me.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know, there's something like just confronting that, like the whole system's burning down, holy shit, and so it was fun, like it's a financial apocalyptic read, and yeah, I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to say anything. But at the ending of that, I mean, there is something tax related, which is really interesting, And
When John dies at the end.
yeah, everyone dies, and none of the main characters survive. That was so depressing. So,
Shocking.
uh,
Did not see that coming.
but by the way, Odell, I don't know if you listen to his podcast with the author.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the man.
Then yeah, he's awesome. But then he put out that when he put the podcast out, he created an address for her because she's a Bitcoin skeptic. She doesn't understand it, and so he wanted to show how like the power of Bitcoiners. So he put out that address for her, and I think she's received. I want to go back and check on that. I think she got like a few Bitcoin, dude.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and doesn't believe in it, right? Kind of
Oh,
poo-pooed it
man.
in one line in the book. Although it would have been a pretty short book if she believed in Bitcoin. Just there was a big financial meltdown, then Bitcoin fixed it. If you owned it,
Hey, we're living it. we're living that right now. The painful part is Bitcoin's already won. It hasn't been evenly distributed, But
Yeah,
yeah, no, I'm glad you like the mandibles. I read it because of Odell's recommendation,
yeah,
and uh yeah,
yeah. Well, we
it's a
can talk.
good it's a good read.
We should talk about more literature on this podcast. We'll get back to that. But just to recap this last piece of news, I think these last few words from Eric Trump here. Tax-free Bitcoin is not only critical for citizens' financial autonomy, freedom, and privacy, it is essential to keep it decentralized and democratic as Satoshi created it to be. This is the president's son. He wouldn't
Yeah.
just be speaking out of his ass, right? Like he seems like a true believer in this stuff. And that's
Trump was already elected. There's no political promise coming out of this. The only thing they have to lose is not being able to deliver.
yeah.
And I think that, yeah, them announcing it, it's kind of like it's getting baked into the cake. There's that cake reference again.
There, dude, you're like on the cake reference, you must be hungry. Is your wife making
Yeah.
cake?
No, she's not a baker. She cooks. She's a good cook.
Nice. Yeah, my
Yeah.
wife has been doing the healthy baking. Like she's using like she'll do like healthy cookies with
What
I
goes in
don't know.
those? Truvia?
Some sorcery. No, raw honey.
Oh yeah, love raw honey.
We got a honey guy, right? So we get honey straight from the hive, dude. Straight from the hive with the
Yeah.
comb. Raw
Farmers market.
honey, butter. I forget what type of flour she's using. Maybe it's like an almond flour or something.
Yeah.
Um,
Gluten free.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just let her do her thing in there, and she tells me it's healthy. I've been experimenting with healthy Jello. So I've got beef
Okay.
gelatin, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's all you really need, dude. Easy. You heat up the water. You heat up water. You put beef gelatin in there, and then you could put raw honey, and I'll do some like electrolytes, and I'll
Okay.
cut up some mango, mix it all in there, and then you put it in a glass container. You put it in the fridge for a few hours, and you've got like delicious, you know, organic honey, or not honey, Jello,
Goodness.
or gummies if you put more gelatin in there. So
And you've got all that collagen. Yeah,
yeah, collagen.
I
Yeah,
haven't even heard of that. That's you're introducing something totally new to me.
yeah,
Um, we do tallow and my wife makes a really good bone broth. But
nice.
you know what the thing is? I realized this morning that the water she's using comes straight from the tap.
Oh, from the tap.
I've been drinking fluoridated
That
bone
explains a
broth.
lot.
It does. It's my stare, just staring at the
Yeah,
screen.
yeah.
No
The
thoughts.
fluoride stare. I did a whole water test. You got to test your water.
I
I
did. I
tested
have,
our. You did,
yeah,
and
I'm drinking.
fluoride. Yeah.
Oh yeah, fluoride, chlorine, all kinds of stuff.
Oh shit, dude. So I tested our tap water. I tested the fridge filtered water. I tested reverse osmosis, and I tested like the jug water that we get from this place.
Yep.
And the tap water tested the best.
No. Are you
Yeah,
serious? So
yeah.
we
But
have tap
I still
water.
don't use it. I don't use it still because I don't know.
I don't
I don't trust the pipes. I don't tr
I
but
don't
the
think you
rocks
should.
here in Hawaii, it's all porous, right? So it's volcanic rock, so it's supposed to filter it, but like I still don't trust it. Um, anyway,
Hmm.
yeah. I'm uh I'm crazy with this shit.
No, we're moving up Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Once you've got like the basics, once you've got the shelter and then you're starting to move on to these pieces. I think they're
Yeah,
important, and I
I
drink
agree.
reverse osmosis with the minerals added back in.
You gotta
And
add
then
the
we'll
minerals.
Yeah, then we'll drink spring water, but I was trying to go for a part of the day just drinking bone broth. And then that's when it hit me. I was like, you know what? Anyway, so I got to rethink how we make that.
We have good lives, huh? We're not
Yeah, it's not
talking about
bad.
our water quality, but yeah, I mean, I'm such a health nut. I mean, there's so many environmental toxins that it requires you to be, rigid with all this stuff. Like, I don't want to have to worry about the water.
Right.
Like, unfortunately, that's the state of the world. Like,
It is, dude.
Okay. I
I
guess
mean, you
everything
could.
I have to look into. I don't want to.
I think at some point you have to draw a line and say, I can live with this, or I know it's happening, and you can't be crazy. Like, I
Yeah.
can't make the rest of my family's life miserable because of the things we're talking about. They don't care. So it's just like replacing the things so they won't notice.
That's good. Just do it, and if it's just better and
It's just better.
not noticeable, then hey.
Right.
All right, cool. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll be right back to do Bitcoiner shit and stack some coins. Well, not coins. Well, maybe it will be stacking Bitcoin soon enough.
10,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah. Um, okay.
It doesn't matter what comes, fresh goes better in life. With mental fresh and full of life. Nothing gets to you, staying fresh, staying cool. With mental fresh and full of life. Fresh goes better. Mentos freshness. Fresh goes better with Mentos fresh and full of life. Mentos, the fresh maker.
I thought about that also.
All right, we are back. Thank you for that amazing word from our sponsors. And we're getting that vibe back. 2025 is going to be that kind of vibe. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I want to say white boy summer. That's probably not the right term.
But it is. It'll be a white boy summer.
There you go. Miami Vice.
All right. Least favorite part of the show for me is Bitcoiner shit. What about you?
Yeah, I always find this very painful thinking about the times I ignored Bitcoin and bought something stupid instead. So this one, it's just a good reminder.
Yes, yes, and it's a good reminder, and it tells you to just be frugal.
And that you're not alone. Someone created this website
That's right.
because so many of us are in this. Almost, I mean, 99% of the people in the world.
Well, let's spin the wheel and see how much we missed out.
Ooh,
Oh, okay. If you bought Bitcoin instead of a frickin' Impossible Burger, and you shouldn't be eating Impossible Burgers, right? You'd have 1K. That would be in 2016. So don't eat. You don't need food.
well, you don't need that kind of food either.
Well,
Oof,
that's not food, right? So if you're
it's
spending money
not
on not food, then
lab grown
yeah,
cell
yeah,
goodness.
the worst, dude. I actually spent a year doing pescatarian, which
Okay. Nice. Fish and pasta, right?
yeah, basically just fish. I cut out meat and I felt horrible. And the first time I had a steak for my first meal after that, and like it was like an instant jolt of energy. It was crazy. I'm like, what have I been doing? But I
Killing
was I
yourself.
was young and I tried things. I did vegan for like 3 months one time and hated it. It was just so like bloated. I'm like, this sucks. My whole thing was like, I'm gonna try these things to see what it's all about and then form my opinion.
Good for you. So I know without even trying it that I don't want to eat tofu. But were you a tofu vegan or were you like a Skittles and Diet Coke vegan?
Yeah, I was like a veggies vegan. You know,
Okay.
I was like a eating a
So it
ton
wasn't
of
just
veggies and
candy.
yeah, I still didn't like any of the processed stuff, right? Like I wasn't doing that, so it was like candy was never like a big thing for me or any like shitty food. It was like, um, yeah, it was a lot of like kale and grains and stuff like that. It sucked. Didn't like it.
It sounds
Beans.
terrible. I was hungry before and I'm not now.
Yes, dude, don't even waste your time. Okay,
All
let's
right.
spin the
What
wheel
else we
again.
got?
I know it's not a
Oh,
wheel,
good
but
one.
Casper mattress. Ooh,
850 bucks, you'd have 1.82 Bitcoin, almost 200K on the mattress.
wild, wild.
Ooh, pain.
Sleep on the floor, plebs. You don't need a bed.
If you got 850
You don't,
bucks, you should
yeah,
be buying 85,000 Bitcoin.
yeah, you don't need a Casper mattress. By the way, all these like mattress firm, all these stores are just fronts for money laundering anyway. You
Is that
they,
is that right?
Dude, they've got to be. Every drive by, I mean, Mattress Firm has all the like most prime locations, right? And they've no one's ever in those stores.
Yeah, everyone keeps their cash under the mattress, so I think you're onto something here.
We're also watching Ozark, so everything I'm looking at, I'm like, are they laundering money right now?
Probably.
All right, let's stack some corn. You want to do it to make us
All
feel a
right,
little
man.
bit better? Alrighty, ready to stack some
Oh,
corn?
goodness, $101,000.
We did stack yesterday too.
We did. What was that? 21 bucks?
$21 and it was what was that like 99 or something or 100 just whenever 100 or something. So
Yeah, yesterday I got it at yeah, 100, 337.
yeah, yeah, it's a 115. Okay. Let's just do what do you want to do 21 again?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do 21. I'm going to preview my order. I'm at 102 1.
Yeah, I'm at 102,021. Oh
Ah,
man, 21 cent fee.
same. All right, let's stack it. Bought.
There it goes.
There we go. All right,
20,378 Bitcoins.
let's go, baby. And so that's the
20.
point of this show. If you're watching and you haven't stacked, get out your phone and stack. You want to end this with more Bitcoin than when you started this. It doesn't need to be a lot. Just whatever you can afford. You know, don't hesitate.
Yeah.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Just make it happen.
Yeah, and stack along with us because, now we're doing it together and we're not doing it apart. We motivate each other.
That's right. That's right. Amen. Okay, we are back and we're ready to talk about some philosophy stuff, right?
Yeah, something a little deeper. This
Something a
one
little
hit.
deeper. So I've been reading Lord of the Rings. I think you have as well.
It's one of my favorites. I'm just reading The Fellowship of the Ring for the first time,
I'm
but I
on
love it.
I'm on the Two Towers, and I will say the Two Towers for me is maybe twice as good as the Fellowship of the Rings.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's fantastic the way I mean a lot of action and I mean I love the story. So I was thinking what I would do is find some quotes that maybe have some tie into Bitcoin. So the first one is by Tolkien. I don't know if this was actually in the book. I'd have to check, but it's the job that's never started as takes longest to finish.
Hmm.
Meaning, stop procrastinating, get off the sidelines, and just start stacking Bitcoin. Okay? The longer you wait, the harder it is.
That's good, man. Yeah, it makes me think of when people say get off zero, get off zero, get some Bitcoin. But you're right. You're not going to hit your stacking goal if you don't start.
100%. The next one is even the smallest person can change the course of the future. And I love this. It's kind of it's about the hobbits, right?
Right.
Young
The halflings.
Frodo, right? And Sam Gamgee and Pip and Merry on their journey, these hobbits from the Shireland making such an outstretched impact on Middle Earth, essentially saving the world. So here we are, just us humble plebs, stacking Bitcoin every day, contributing in whatever way that we can. And maybe sometimes it feels like we're not making that much of a difference, but I think that we are the ones that are, changing the world. We're on the front lines here. And, if you're thinking that, hey, I don't know, I'm just a humble pleb, right? What can I really do? Well, you can. You can get involved and you can make a difference, just like Frodo.
That's good, man. That's good. We are front running countries. We're
Yeah,
front
that's a
running
fact.
companies.
Front
We're
running Microsoft.
yeah. Oh yeah, for real. There of all the millionaires, 60 million millionaires, you know, there's only a fraction of a Bitcoin if they all wanted to buy one at once. So, even there are going to be cities that don't have as much Bitcoin as a pleb.
That's right. That's right.
Not to mention the millionaires, I mean, thinking about trying to preserve your wealth and being able to take, $10 million, but only get a half of a Bitcoin when today it's 50 grand. That's
Hmm.
going to happen. It's going to happen soon. We're going to see that happen.
Yeah, we really will. We're front running countries, and whatever you're doing, like professionally too, you can, I assure you that you can find a way to, work in Bitcoin. Maybe it's a side hustle or
Hmm.
working for a company, but if you have value that you can add, then find a way to do that. Just start thinking about it, right? Don't delay.
Good words.
Okay, should we transition here to some salty no coiner tears?
Have fun staying poor.
Yeah, that's right. Should we do it?
Let's do it.
Okay. You want to tee up this first one? We're going to talk a little bit about the no coiners at Microsoft. Let's just watch it.
Shareholders did not approve any of the shareholder proposals. The discussion of matters for shareholder consideration is now closed.
Ooh, what do you think here, dude?
I love this. I love it because I don't like using Microsoft products. I hate using PowerPoint. I hate using Teams. I don't like Bill Gates. I'll
I
go on
don't
the
like him
record
either.
saying
He,
that.
he he deserves some more pies to the face.
More pies to the face for, anybody who voted against this. Have fun staying poor. And the reason they didn't is because they look at their stack of cash, $50 billion, and they're fine. They feel like they don't need Bitcoin. They're going to find out they do, but it's going to take a long time. So they had an opportunity to, join the Michael Saylors of the world and really lead as an innovator. And he made a great 3-minute case for what that looks like. But
Yeah.
here you go, less than, 0.05% voted for this, which, you know, is wonderful. Have fun staying poor.
Have fun staying poor. I'm gonna say that I don't like that I'm on this crypto doggy profile. Where he's doing just like shitcoin stuff. Join us on this blockchain adventure. So moving forward, I'm gonna find a better link for these types of videos because
I think I sent that one to you
did you?
because I was looking for this guy and I couldn't find it. So I had to go back and search, and this is the profile where it popped up.
Never even heard
So
of
that's on
this.
that's on me, dude.
No, it's cool. It's cool. Crypto the doggy, all about
I
blockchain.
don't
What's that?
I don't
Blockchain.
follow.
Yeah, no. If you're
He just
watching, you
popped up.
don't follow this guy. He's 73K follower. Right, whatever. Enough attention given to him. Um, yeah, like you have an opportunity to front run Microsoft. Uh, micro penis is a historically bad company. What did I just say?
Soft soft penis, I think is the name.
Have fun staying poor. Let's take a look at, well, MSNBC has a new obsession, and it's Bitcoin. Working in media, I have never seen MSNBC dedicate, 5-minute soliloquies to Bitcoin. This is a first. And it's not positive coverage. I mean, they clearly don't understand Bitcoin and they're, you know, poo-pooing it. They don't get it. But let's watch a little bit and then we can talk about it. Because in the span of, within the span of a couple days, they had two segments that went out about this. So,
And with it, requiring a bailout. Some rich people holding a lot of crypto disagree with that strategy. They want a bailout, implicit or explicit, if the house of cards comes crashing down. To that end, after Republicans took back the Senate with the help of money from the crypto industry, they now have a plan to return the favor. And I want you to listen to this part because no one's really talking about this, but the elements of the plot are just there in plain sight. Senate Republicans are working on a bill that would transfer billions and billions of dollars of money from the U.S. government, from taxpayers, and hand it over to a handful of big crypto holders.
We got a present for President Donald Trump. Here it is.
This is not a flattering clip.
The
I know.
Bitcoin
She sounds kind of
Reserve Bill in the Senate of the United States to establish a Bitcoin strategic reserve, a network of secure storage vaults, purchase program, and other programs to ensure the transparent management of Bitcoin holdings of the federal government.
Yes, the Bitcoin Act from Republican Senator Cynthia Lummis of Wyoming, it would establish a Federal Reserve of Bitcoin. It's truly one of the most audacious schemes I've ever seen in Congress. Here's why. Rich folks who own a lot of crypto have a problem, right? Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin in particular, is a very valuable asset. Single Bitcoin worth over 100 grand. Some very, very wealthy people own hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. David Sachs, for instance, has a lot of crypto. That said, it's not a liquid asset like cash that you could easily spend or invest or use for practical purposes. It has no practical use really outside of a few gimmicks, and it's very useful for criminal cartels.
Gimmicks.
Gimmicks and the cartels like that. They
Can you imagine
love.
being? Sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, it's okay. They love to conflate Bitcoin with like criminal activity, and it's like, are you kidding me? So what do criminals use right now to launder money?
They like
Cash.
cash,
They like cash. They like cash. They're using the US
untraceable.
dollar. Okay. They're using the US dollar. And I'm sorry, but Bitcoin is a technology. Okay. It's like, oh, criminals love to use cars to drive to do crimes. Okay. We're going to ban cars. These criminals, them and their phones, they like to call people and commit crimes. It's the phones. Oh, man. Criminals are using the internet. Let's ban the internet. It's like, are you retarded? I think you are, right? Because it's like that makes no sense. There's no money that's going from the taxpayers to rob the taxpayers to go into, Bitcoin or anything. Like if you haven't been paying attention, the United States is $36 trillion of debt. Okay? Did we get to this point, right, doing anything that was of sound, monetary policy? No, we didn't. So I think that you have exhausted your credentials. I think you've exhausted your credibility. You're speaking nonsense, complete nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah, it is nonsense. I mean, everything that was in that clip is not factual, and it looks like they're just manipulating their audience. Really, instead of giving them the truth and being straightforward about it, just, really pushing a point of view that is incorrect.
The
I wouldn't
positive.
expect anything less.
Yeah, what's positive is that media trust is like at an all-time low. So anyone that is watching that, more likely than they ever were to go seek credible information for themselves. And in this clip, if you're watching it on the news, you're like, wait, what was that? Was that what conference was that? Was that the Bitcoin conference? Okay, let me go on YouTube and oh, there's some videos of some people talking about this Bitcoin thing. And you learn about it that way, right? Oh, what's this? Is this a podcast here? Who is this guy? What's the best business show? Let me go look. Let me go watch that episode. And what you're going to learn is something actually factual and of value for you that you're going to realize quickly that Chris Hayes is giving you horrible information because it supports their agenda. And that's
Yeah.
it. So I think it's a positive. Everything is good for Bitcoin.
Yeah, and they're telling you how to feel about something. They want you to just accept what they're saying without, as you're pointing out, doing any critical thinking or any research at all.
100%. Yeah. This is just a few days after it. Uh, these guys talking about it.
True.
So
There could be real value in it. There could be a real business there. But that doesn't mean that there needs to be a government program transferring $100 billion to it.
And when we talk about smart people being into Bitcoin, is it because they think Bitcoin is like the technology that's going to power the future? Or is it because they're smart enough to realize there are a lot of people who are going to get on the train, feel the FOMO, and buy in? I mean, if you were able to predict that, more power to you. But I don't think the government should be in that business.
by the way, this guy wrote an article recently claiming that I think it was like bored apes or mutant apes are a better form of money than Bitcoin, which that tells you everything you need to know.
I mean, there's no different than people investing in stocks or other illiquid assets. There really isn't. I mean, if people believe.
Hold on a minute. Beneath that stock are companies that sell products that you can tell. Okay, ready? Let's give you the Hawk to a girl example, okay? A drunk girl outside a bar who becomes famous for a lewd comment, more power to her, okay? She then launches a coin, is dishonest publicly.
I mean, you're conflating Bitcoin with Hawk Tuah coin. And any Bitcoiner will tell you that crypto is a scam. Meme coins are a scam. So if you're conflating these two things, then you've really got no grounds to even talk about it, right? Talk about Bitcoin or talk about crypto. Don't intermix the two things.
Well said. Can't be said enough.
Anyway, again, it's bullish. It's bullish as much as it's like as cringe as it is. These are like people do watch. I mean, they watch MSNBC. A lot of people watch, and they're going to be forced to look into this thing themselves, right? Say the media has only spent like 5% of their airtime to covering Bitcoin or crypto. Like maybe now that it's being politicized, it's going to demand a larger mind share. So you can see coverage go up maybe double or triple, and that's a good thing. Even if it's bad information, people have resources at their fingertips to look into this stuff. So I believe it's bullish.
That's a good spin. Those clips are hard to watch.
I know, dude. I we watched them yesterday. I didn't want to have to watch them again, but we do it for you
Yeah.
guys. All right, we are back, and we're going to share a little bit of parting wisdom with you guys before we get out of here. Do you want to kick us off?
What was the wisdom that I shared yesterday?
Noster.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to riff everything as I said it yesterday, but Nostr allows you to create a social profile using an app called Primal with your private and a public key, so that you're completely at control of what you post, who you communicate with. You can stop using Primal and you can use a different app and carry all of your followers with you. I think that as we are really enjoying, I think, for the most part, what Elon Musk is saying and doing and being on the winning team for once, it's important not to get complacent and not to think that this is how the world will continue for the foreseeable future. We don't know. Everything might be feeling good right now, but I would say take some time, learn about Nostr, the protocol. It's going to unlock lots of different pieces of the web. They might be built on top of it so that instead of signing in with emails and passwords, you have your private key and your public key. Very simple, but it protects you. It keeps your privacy, and nobody has control over the communication that you want to engage in. I think Primal is a great app that you should check out. And I love it. I post on there every once in a while, but I think it's one of those things that it's easy to kind of forget how important it is until you need it.
100% agree. I should be posting more on Nostr. I use Primal, I use Damus as well, or Damus, however you pronounce it. And the way to understand, I mean, Nostr is the protocol. It's like the email protocol, but then you have companies like Primal and Damus that are giving you interfaces for which to interact with that protocol. So, like, you think of it, email protocol as like Gmail is to that, or Proton, or whatever, right? Two really great companies. I love Primal as well. And there is a culture there of zapping. You're zapping sats, zapping bitcoins to everyone that's posting. And there's a movement right now on X where Bitcoiners are trying to get monetized and tap into that so you can get like $20 a month or something. And fine, I guess, but that's already happening on Nostr. So if you haven't activated an account, you could do that today. You could start putting out really good content, and in time, you'll be rewarded for that. And then just last point here is, X is great. It's amazing that Elon Musk took it over and now we have, freedom of speech, but it still hinges on one man. And that's what we want to avoid. There's a single point of failure and it's predicated on Elon Musk. So whether very powerful people exert influence on him and he changes things, or something tragic happens to him, right, that stuff could happen, and the next thing you know, you've built a following on a house of cards. So you can think of it as hedging your bets, right, and supporting freedom technology, and you will be rewarded for that on Oster, so get involved. um, I would just add one more thing as my parting wisdom is to run your own node. And you can do that with easy plug and play options. I've used Start 9, which is great. And Start 9 is essentially an operating system that you can plug in, and you can download these Freedom Technology apps, whether that's messaging or storage, Nostr related things. You can run a node, and it's all right there, sleek, easy to use, and the support team's great. So yeah, we do get caught up in number go up stuff. We love that. That's really fun. But we came here for the greed, and we're staying for the freedom. And the sooner you get on the freedom train, the more fun it's going to be.
Yeah, that's a good call. The one thing that no one told me when I ran a node is that it takes a week for the Bitcoin time chain to sync.
Yeah. So start today. 'Cause you're
Give
like,
yourself a week.
give yourself a
Yeah.
week for that to load up. Yeah. Oh shit! I wasn't recording this whole time. I'm just fucking with you.
I see the message at the top of my screen. Can you imagine doing this one more time? Oh,
Whoa, yeah, I mean, I think we would wait and we would just be like, doing it on next Thursday. But we did it, dude. We did it.
we
It
did
is
it.
recording. It was recording the last time. It's just Zoom, and I know you're listening. You messed up, okay? I already
Yeah.
canceled, but I paid for the year, so we're using Zoom through May, and then we're gonna look into different options.
Yeah, they committed time theft.
They did, dude. I mean, all those, groundbreaking ideas that we discussed on that podcast, we'll never get them back.
No, they're gone forever. We could have changed the world had that
Could have.
episode been recorded.
Yes, I mean, we could have. But I think we had a pretty good riff today, so we'll take it for what it is. We did it. We didn't give up. We said,
That's
you
right,
know
man.
what? Damn it, we're gonna see this thing through to the finish line. So we should be proud about that. It's a Friday.
Yeah.
I'm sure, there's you got some fun things lined up for the weekend, and that's it, man. I don't know. Any
All right,
any
man.
final thoughts?
No, man, this is good. I'm glad we smoothed over the pothole.
Likewise, brother. And hey, if you're watching, please like, subscribe, share this out. Let us know what you want us to cover in future podcasts. We would love to hear from you.
All right, number 5 in the bag.
All right, signing
Good
off. Have a
work.
good weekend, brother. Boom.